If you want to make a stats board just like this, and you can walk up to it and interact with it, and then it shows your player, and then you can also see all your stats right next to it. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video to find out how. You don't need to use any verse in this tutorial, and we're just going to use Creative 1.0, and it's actually pretty simple to do. So let's just get straight into the video. Okay, so basically to make this, all we're going to need is a button and a few player reference devices. We're going to need multiple of them for each stat you want to show to the players. So first I'm just going to go over this title, or I just said stats with a billboard. It doesn't really matter what settings you use. You can use the settings I have right here, but it's really up to you. Okay, so now let's go over the first player reference device that actually shows you and your name. Okay, so you're going to want to put show hologram to on. Color, you could do this to whatever you want. I've just done white. Visible during games to on. Show blur details to on. The hologram animation, you can put it to wherever you want. I just put flex 1. And the hologram effect strength, this actually makes your player glow the color you put. I just put it to 0%. Show base to off. Stat to track, we're going to leave that for the moment and put none. Player details height, I just put it to 20, so it's at the bottom. Player details curve amount, you can put it to wherever you want. I've done small. And then finally you can put play audio to off, but it can be kind of annoying. Now guys, I'm going to show you how to actually make the stats appear, and we're going to need separate player reference devices for each stat you want to show. Okay, so let's go over the settings. So put show hologram to off, because you don't obviously want to show the player now. We're just going to show the stats. Color, you can do this to whoever you want. Again, I just left it as white. It really is up to you, it's just the color of the text. Visible during games to on. Show player details to on. The hologram animation doesn't really matter, and the same with the hologram effect strength. Show base to off. Stat to track, this is whatever stat you actually want to track. So there's lots of them you could do. You could do score, collected items, objectives, AI eliminations, assists, eliminated, damage dealt, damage taken, spawns left, and lap time. So for this one I've done eliminated, but obviously you can do whatever one you want. And then player details height, I put it to 50, so it's kind of in the middle. Player details curve amount, make sure you put this to no curve, because we're just going to want this to be straight. Finally at the end you could put play audio to off. Now as soon as you do that, you probably realise that it actually shows the player name above it. Now we're obviously not going to want to have this because it will look a bit dumb. So what we're going to do is get the primitive shapes gallery out, and we're going to take this rectangular piece, and basically we're just going to cover the player name, because it looks a bit dumb having player name and then a stat and then player name and then a stat. You can use anything to cover it, but I've just used a primitive shape. You can resize it with that button there for VHB, and then you can change the resize axis, the width, depth or height, and then resize it to fit over the player name. You can change the width and the height so it just fits over where it says player name, just like that. You can change the primitive shape color for whatever you want. You might want it to blend in with your background. I just put mine as gold here because it looks kind of cool. And then guys, you're just going to want to copy the first player reference device you made and change the stat to something else, like eliminations or assists or damage dealt or whatever you want. Okay now guys, so finally we're just going to make a button, and this is going to enable the stats to actually show for the player. So interaction time, I just put 0.5. Interaction text, I put check my stats. Visible during games to no, and interaction radius to whatever you want, I just put 1.25. And then on interact send event 2, we're just going to want to link up all the player reference devices to register the player. So what you're going to want to do is add device, make sure it's the player reference device, and then make sure on the event you put register player. Make sure you do this for every player reference device you have set up right here. So for me there's 4, there's the main one with the player, and then 3 stats. So that's 4 player reference devices in total, so that's why the button is registering the player for 4 player reference devices. Now finally, if you want the stats to actually save between games, you're going to want to have a save point device, and in this you're just going to want to put it to auto save and auto load, and then you're going to want to save the stats you actually have on your board. So for me it'd be eliminations and assists and eliminated, and you're going to want to put no for all the other stats you don't want to save. You're going to also want to make sure you have to save all scoreboard stats to yes, because actually some of the stats you could have on the player reference device are not on the save point device. For example, eliminated actually isn't in the save point device for some reason. So if you go to your island settings and then go to user interface, you can go to the scoreboard, and you're going to want to make sure all the stats you have on your stat board here are also on here, so then the save point can actually save them. So I've got eliminations, assists, eliminated, damage dealt, score, whatever you want. Make sure the stats on your board are also the stats on your scoreboard. And this means those stats will actually be saved. So eliminated will also be saved. So yeah, make sure save all scoreboard stats is to yes. And then you could put save eliminations or assists, and disable checkpoints or save team, because you don't need to have that. So as you can see, when I walk up to the board, nothing's on it yet, and I interact with it, and I can see me and my name, and then I can see all my stats. And because my stats are saved, there's already some there, and as you can see, as soon as I get a kill, it will actually update on the stat board, which is really cool. And it does also show how many times I've been eliminated. If this tutorial did help you out, I'd really be thankful if you liked and subscribed, as it really helps out the video and more people can see how to make a stat board just like this. As I believe I'm the first player to actually make a stat board in Creative 1.0 without needing to use Verse, so yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Make sure to check out more tutorials on screen now. I make loads of Creative 1.0 tutorials just like this. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Peace.